And good evening to you all from the Universitario Stadium here in Monterrey, the most northerly point of these World Cup finals. This, the larger of the two stadiums in the city, where England will play Poland in their third group match.
Can't walk anywhere with me.
The two captains, Zaki, who you've just heard, for Morocco's Zibi Boniek for Poland. The ground, I wouldn't think quite half full. The cheapest seats, $3, and that's a day's wages here. This is also the lowest level that World Cup football will be played at, about 1,500 feet compared to 7,000 feet above sea level in Mexico City. It's also supposed to be the hottest, but the past week has been muggy and at times very wet indeed, in the wake, we understand, of Hurricane Agatha. And certainly the temperatures at kick-off time will be more to the liking of Poland than Morocco, who are hoping for the heat that they're used to in their own country. Poland's recent World Cup record is splendid, of course. Third in 1974, in the top six in 78 in Argentina, third again in Spain. And their supporters are here. And so much for them depends on the skills of Boniek, perhaps coming from midfield. Morocco, too, have their followers. We hope to bring you a check on the teams in a moment, but first perhaps a chance for a word from David Pleat.
Well, a fantastic occasion, particularly for the Moroccans. I've seen them in training and they seem to enjoy their football. They play with a smile on the face, and it'll be very interesting to see how they compare their individual techniques against the organisation and strength and pace that the Poles will give them. It's the hardest effort yet that they'll have had to put in.
Morocco are able to feel their strongest side. They line up in this World Cup as usual of squad numbers. Their numbers are 1 to 11, as you can see. Zaki is the captain in goal. Khalifa and Lamriss, the two fullbacks. Biyaz and Bouyahyaoui, the two centre-backs. Dolmy, the anchor man in midfield. Haddaoui plays in Switzerland. So too does the number 8, Bouderbala. Merry at number 9 was fourth highest scorer in the French First Division this season. Timoumi, the African Footballer of the Year. Mustafa Merry, the younger brother of the number 9. And Morocco's coach, in fact, is José Faria. They put the name of the Polish coach on that team lineup. But this is the Polish team. Młynarczyk in goal, who plays for Porto in Portugal. Ostrowski, the left-back. Wojciechowski, the sweeper. Majewski, who plays in West Germany, in the centre of defence. Matisik, the anchor man in midfield. Kubishki will play at right-back. Komorniski in midfield with Bunsol. Smolarek, the battle-hardened veteran from Widzew Lodz. Boniek, of course, and Dziekanowski, Dariusz Dziekanowski, certainly one to keep an eye on. He's Poland's current Footballer of the Year. So we invite you to sit back along with Bobby Robson, who's here in the stadium, and indeed the England players who are watching up in the team hotel in Saltillo, to assess the strengths now and perhaps the weaknesses of England's forthcoming opponents. Group F is underway in Monterrey. Lamriss. And here's Timoumi, who's very much a left-sided player. Mustafa Merry, the younger of the two brothers. Taken up by Aziz Bouderbala, the number 8, and the number 7, Haddaoui. We'll try and identify as much as possible for you, players that you won't know readily at home. A quick throw from Młynarczyk, and this is Bunsol, one of Poland's stars in the last World Cup when they got to the semi-finals, and without Boniek, who was suspended, they lost to Italy, of course. Dziekanowski. The tall figure of Roman Wojcicki, one of the players from Widzew Łódź. Here's Komonitsky. Boniek switching the point of attack. And guided back to Zaki by Lamriss. Morocco representing Africa here in Mexico, just as they did 16 years ago, when they had their moments in the group matches. They did, at one point, lead West Germany at half-time, and were only beaten by a controversial goal 2-1. But they'd never won a game in the finals, and it's a tough way for them to start here. Timoumi. Merry giving chase. And Majewski was the player pushed in the back, the bearded defender for Poland. This is little Bunsol. And now Marek Ostrowski. Very much early sparring. We've been watching Morocco train a little bit more than Poland, because the Poles have been typically secretive about their preparations. But the Moroccans have impressed in training with their technique. But as David Pleat was saying earlier, we wonder about their organisation and indeed their temperament, whether that can match some of the talent in the side. Dolmy, that's a probing pass, looking for Lamriss, who's an adventurous left-back. Here's Dolmy. Kubicki with the little header down. Bunsol rather pinned against the touchline. David, your first observations?
Well, it would be important for the Moroccans to breed some confidence and to get behind the ball early and keep the game as tight as possible in the early stages. And then as they slowly get a little bit of possession and start knocking around, they'll feel much better for it.
Ostrowski. There is something about the World Cup that does bring the best out of Poland. Their clubs certainly haven't been the most successful in European competition. They've never qualified for the final stages, Poland, for the European Championship. But here they are, setting off on the World Cup trail again. And Smolarek, thinking perhaps about the shot on the right foot. Ostrowski. And getting the better of Khalifa, and Biyaz stabs it behind for the game's first corner to Poland. Coming in the 5th minute. Ostrowski getting behind Morocco to win it. Both Wojcicki and Majewski have come forward, and the flick-on was by Wojcicki. Haddaoui. Off the pitch, the Moroccans have won friends in the area with a sociable approach. They've been seen around the city, and they stayed much later than the other nations at an official FIFA gathering a couple of nights ago, and were clearly enjoying themselves. And here's Lamriss with a chance to enjoy himself here. Looking for Crimo. Monterrey, very much a footballing city, with 2 First Division teams here. This is the home of the Universitario club. The other club, the Monterrey club itself, are the Mexican champions. That was the club side that England played against a few days ago. Too long for Jakanowski.
there is a thought that the Moroccans might lack some power and physique in the air, and I noticed on the last corner they had 2 men on the line defending with the goalkeeper. When they played in Belfast, they conceded a goal from a corner kick, and they only had 1 man on the line.
Well, Poland have conceded some space here to Bouderbala. Primo going to the near post, and Bouderbala wins a corner. He was a late arrival in the Moroccan camp because he played and had a fine match, by all accounts, for Sion, his club side in Switzerland, in the Swiss Cup final. He was a winner there. Timoumi. And here's Haddaoui. Dolmy. And Aziz setting himself for the shot, and the ball ricocheting off Primo. The feeling in the Moroccan camp, the 2 Brazilian coaches, José Faria and his assistant Jovan Vieira, is very optimistic. They both feel that Morocco will get through from this group. Bunsol. 4 forward for Poland here. Haddaoui. Morocco will often look to build on that left-hand side with the adventurous runs of Lamriss. Haddaoui. Still players to his left, but he looked for the central route. And it's Aziz with the shot, set up by Primo. Djekonovski. Boniek with the captain's armband. And Lamriss was rather drawn infield, and Bunsol got the better of him. Djekonovski coming to collect the throw. He's got all the class of a Boniek. This World Cup might show whether he's got the temperament to go with it. Timoumi. Helped on by Mustafa Merry. Aziz Bouderbala. And again, the Moroccans picking their passes well. And it needed Majewski to guide it back to where Mounatic just came out in time to prevent the corner.
I think that if the Moroccans can get the ball into the last third enough, with players getting forward, then I think we're going to enjoy some of the football from them. They've got good imagination around the box.
Mounatic, the goalkeeper, who plays, as I was saying, for Porto, the perfect man to spy on Portugal for Poland. And he's grateful there that the linesman raises a flag against Primo. Poland's preparations have been hampered by a couple of minor injuries. Mounatic had a hand problem. Wojcicki only started training later than his teammates because of an ankle problem. This is Komonitsky. On from Matisik. Ostrovsky. And Zaki taking it with confidence. Of all the Moroccans, perhaps he's the bubbliest character. Biyaz. Khalifa, the right back. And now Dolmy. Poland letting Morocco play from midfield. Here's Dolmy again. Just lifting it over Bunsol. Lamriss. Timoumi, who's looking very much a strolling player at the moment. And it's Haddaoui who let him down by not being able to control the pass. Boniek looking for that extra acceleration, and Morocco were aware of it. And Dolmy came in late, and with an air of desperation, knowing that Boniek needed to be halted in that type of situation.
Boniek, sitting behind the front players, could cause them problems, because at the moment it looks Timoumi, who's the main playmaker for the Moroccans, is the one that's going to be conditioned to try and pick him up as much as possible. That just may intimidate Timoumi's own style.
So Jekanovski plays the free kick wide. And Majewski coming in with the header from Ostrovsky's cross. A referee who speaks Spanish, of course, his native tongue, and English as well. But to my knowledge, there's only one English-speaking player on the field, Zaki. I don't think too many of them speak Spanish either. Smolarek. Aziz Bouderbala. Dolmy. Lamriss has made the run. And it was good defending by Kubicki. And he looks to try and set Poland forward under counter-attack. That ends when Boniek couldn't control.
In the early stages, the left-back Lamriss, who obviously enjoys going forward and breaking to support the midfield and the front players, he just must be a little bit wary, because Boniek's very clever at spreading the passes out to the right, and he may just leave too much space.
Khalifa. A cloudy late afternoon in Monterrey, but high humidity. And Poland and Morocco have not bothered with altitude training. And this is Timoumi. Cremo is in the middle. Stole half a yard on the near post, and Morocco have a corner.
Timoumi's got a lot of confidence in his ability. He won't be frightened to take people on around the box.
Timoumi to take the corner himself. Met by Matishik. Here's Lamriss. Cremo poised again. And in fact, Cremo was caught offside. But at the moment, David, Poland giving Morocco plenty of opportunity to show their quality in midfield.
The Moroccans will be very pleased with their start. You could almost say their spirits are rising faster than the Mexican inflation, Martin.
You've been working on your exchange rates privately, David. And this is Jekanovski. And Smolarek. Khalifa, in the end, with help from Bouyahyaoui, able to snuff out the danger, although Khalifa slow to get back onto his feet. Mustafa Merry. Biyaz. Now Dolmy. Brings down the Swiss-based Moroccan. The bandaged knee, I understand, is just a precaution. He's been training with it ever since he arrived out here. Well, a free kick to Morocco with just over 15 minutes gone. Timoumi poised on the left foot, and Młynarczyk with no real problems. The last international that Poland won was back in November last year, but it was a prestigious victory. They beat Italy by 1-0. But the injured player, Lamriss, looks as though he might require some attention. The stretcher is always brought on as a precaution, and out it comes again with the 2 permitted trainers, the FIFA rules. So the party of 4 has arrived. And it would be a blow, David, if Lamriss was to have to leave the field.
Yes, I'm sure he's looked a bright character early days. He's made one mistake around the box where I thought he dived in, which he could have dropped it and just held his time a little bit. So I wonder whether he's as good a defender as he is in supporting play. But it's early days, and as I say, the Moroccans will be quite happy with their attempts so far.
Well, as a precaution, a substitute, Sina, is warming up, but not called upon yet. For the moment, Morocco go on down to 10 men. Timoumi. Nice interplay with Haddaoui. Aziz Bouderbala. On the far side, Lamriss is back on his feet, as you can see, and waiting for the call to rejoin the action. Bunsol. Poland, you might remember, started very slowly in the '82 World Cup. They were held by Cameroon goalless in their opening game. And the header from Djepanovski. Morocco were worried, they were saying, about the England aerial threat, and Poland playing in the sort of cross that Mark Hateley might like to get on the end of. And it was Djepanovski who couldn't direct the header onto the target. Biyaz. And Dolmy aware that Matishik was closing him down. As we've seen already in this World Cup, the opening game in a group is often a slightly more cautious affair. No one wants to start their campaign with defeat. Mustafa Merry, away by Matishik. Komonitsky. And no sort of pass at all in the direction of Bunsol. Timoumi. Dolmy. Plenty of movement from the Moroccans, and Poland, for the time being, prepared just to hold their ground. And the Monterrey public rather hoping for a little bit more action and trying to encourage the teams to do that. Boniek. Komonitsky ahead of him, and so too here is Ostrovsky. Komonitsky stole a yard from a quick piece of thinking at the throw. Kubicki just a little slow to see the possibilities, the number 14. Now Matishik. Bunsol. Working the 1-2 with Matishik. And Poland still working for a position on the edge of the area, and in the end have to settle for a throw. Only Matishik making himself available to Bunsol, but he's won a corner. And the two linesmen from France and the linesman on the far side from Mali, who will supervise the placing of the ball when it's returned from the emptiness down by that corner flag. Smolarek to take. Poland have 5 players waiting in the middle. And it's Boniek. Bunsol mishits. And Komonitsky trying to keep Poland in possession, but failing. And a possible break on here with Primo. Haddaoui has got Aziz Bouderbala in close attention. But Morocco's strength really was to the other side. And Poland now have got back. Dolmy gives it away. Boniek, who's suited so well the counter-attacking philosophy of Italian football. But he catches Dziekanowski offside.
I'm not sure about the quality of the pitch. There's one or two balls that the Poles have tried to bisect defenders with, and they haven't quite rolled on. It seems a slow roll of the ball.
Aziz Bouderbala, who's posing a problem or two for Poland. Primo in the middle, so too is his brother Mustafa. Primo is actually a shortened version of his proper first name, Abdelkrim. Here's Mustafa Merry. And Winarchik got his bearings right in the end. He's quite a controversial character. He was once sent home from international duty for being found drunk. I'm not sure whether he was disorderly as well, but Boniek sprang to his defence and was promptly sent home as well. That was a match against Malta. Not the most testing of fixtures, but they've served their time and been welcomed back into the fold. Ostrovsky. And was caught late. I think was happy to fall, although it was technically a foul by Dolmy. Poland waiting again for their two central defenders to join Komonitsky and Dziekanowski at Boniek's free kick. But here's Ostrovsky, who enjoys shooting and doesn't really connect cleanly. Poland with a number of players forward, and again Morocco sensing possibilities. Haddaoui, Primo is unmarked in the middle, and just back in the nick of time was Ostrovsky.
Timouni's got a lovely touch with lovely composed left foot, and he's going to be able to spread the ball around, particularly from the no-go areas of the middle of the field, where there's no frenetic tackling and close marking. Everyone in there is allowed to play. The only problems come when it gets towards the box.
And so far, Poland not really looking to stretch Morocco with European-style running. And maybe they're pacing themselves because of the high humidity, although it's not as hot as I was saying earlier as it might be here in Monterrey. Smolarek. An experienced practitioner around the European scene with Widzew Łódź. Played very well a few years ago against Liverpool. And Zaki having to just react a little more sharply than he would have wanted to the back pass from Lamriss. Dolmy with a confident header. And some neat work on the ball from Mustafa Merry. The two brothers with a good understanding, and Primo was on the receiving end of the foul. The pat from the younger brother to the older.
The two Merry brothers and Bouderbala are being very tightly marked, leaving the giant pole at the back just to sweep up.
Komonitsky. Here's Smolarek. Remember, of course, that Poland do carry the greater firepower. And Boniek looking for his 25th goal for his country on the occasion of his 75th international. It's a good rate from a player who has to do his share in midfield. But who at the moment will probably be giving one of those expressive looks and perhaps a gesture or two in the direction of the Moroccan who fouled him. Not the rarefied air here of Mexico City or Guadalajara, so perhaps the ball won't fly quite as fast. Boniek assessing the possibilities as the referee, as FIFA have instructed him to do, make sure that the wall is back 10 yards. Here's Boniek, and the wall did its job. Roman Wojcicki, the sweeper. Komonitsky making progress. 2 in the middle for Poland. And Khalifa was aware that they weren't posing any great threat on the cross. In their 8 qualifying games, Morocco only conceded 1 goal, and that was in their last match against Libya. Boniek. Matishik couldn't control. Timoumi stretching, and Morocco slightly rescued there by the referee's whistle. Smolarek was on his way, and it was a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other situation, which the referee saw in Morocco's favour. Haddaoui. Stopped by Ostrovsky. And he will need no second bidding to get forward. If Lamriss will do it for Morocco, you can be sure that Ostrovsky will break down the left-hand side for Poland. Doing it now is Jakanowski.
In attacking practices in training, the Poles look very effective. In fact, we were saying beforehand they looked almost as punchy as the local tequila. But at the moment, they've not really had enough shots at goal, and they haven't done anything to stretch the Moroccans. And as I say, Morocco will be quite happy with the early stages.
I don't know how you know about the tequila, David.
You gave me a drink last night, Mark.
Here's Aziz Bouderbala. On the subject of the local fare here, the Moroccans have been eating all the Mexican food, not brought any of their own, unlike most countries in this World Cup. Matishik. Now Bunsol, who hasn't seen a great deal of the ball, with almost half an hour gone. Boniek. And Khalifa has to cover, and does so with great aplomb. Here's Dolmy. Cremo. And just offside, the linesman is flagging Mustafa Merry. The Poles weren't too sure, and nor initially was the crowd. But Aziz Bouderbala here, the full-time professional in Switzerland, and Cremo and Mustafa Merry, who both play in France, are certainly showing a thing or two to Poland, getting the service from Timoumi from midfield. Biyaz. Here's Dolmy, very unselfish in his work in the midfield area. Timoumi. And the triangles appear again for Morocco, although on this occasion there's no real progress. Bunsol for Poland. Here's Ostrovsky. Smolarek to the left, and Boniek not given the time that he wanted. Aziz Bouderbala for Timoumi. And this time the range wasn't there in the left foot. With half an hour gone, no goals as yet in the first match in Group F, England's group in Monterrey. Bobby Robson, I'm sure, will be interested in what he's seeing from the Moroccans. He did receive a gesture of friendship from the Moroccan camp. It wasn't a very friendly tackle there from Dolmy from Biyaz rather, on Smolarek, and the free kick taken too quickly. But José Faria, the Moroccan coach, presented Bobby Robson, courtesy of the ITV team, who acted as the intermediary, with one of Timoumi's shirts as a gift of friendship, which was accepted with great gratitude by the England manager. And it's Timoumi there, who gets the yellow card for not going back 10 yards at the free kick. Players have surely been briefed that this is in the special FIFA regulations for this tournament. And Timoumi still hasn't retreated. Komonitsky's shot. Broken up by Lamriss. Mustafa Merry. Lamriss goes on ahead of him. Only Crimo in the middle for Morocco, closely watched by Matishik, and the sweeper brought into play for Chiski.
That was disappointing, really. When Lamriss put that ball in, there was a lack of determination by his colleagues to get into the box.
"12 minutes remaining of the first half. Timoumi was obstructed by Bunsol. You sense here that the local support in this match is with the underdogs, Morocco. Poland haven't really been the greatest ambassadors, working behind closed doors and rarely allowing the Monterrey public the sight of the players. Here's Bunsol. Matishik. Poland thought they were going to get a free kick for a late challenge by Haddaoui, but the referee allows play to go on.
The Moroccans have shown that they can keep the possession and they can work the ball, and they've got good skills. Just have to show a little bit more pace and urgency when they receive the ball in midfield to attack the Polish back players.
Smolarek trying to provide some urgency of his own. Lamriss. Aziz Bouderbala. Mustafa Merry and his brother Crimo perhaps just lack half a yard of explosive pace to really stretch Poland at the back. Matishik, by nature a defensive midfield player, but it's a probing pass that releases Bunsol. But Zaki already on the edge of his 6-yard box as the cross was being delivered. Bouderbala. Crimo going on ahead of him, and Bouderbala using Crimo in the end as the decoy. Crimo dragged the defender away, and Aziz Bouderbala went on to drive a foot or so past Munachik's right-hand post. Boniek. Aziz Bouderbala was impeded by Kubicki.
At the moment, the Poles passing hasn't done justice to themselves. Whether it is the quality of the pitch, I don't know, but they haven't seemed to get a good roll of the ball. The lovely thing about the game is that the teams are playing on the full length of the pitch. There's no condensing of space in the midfield and a consistent blowing of the referee's whistle for offside. When the greens get it, they can attack. When the whites get it, they can attack.
What is lacking at the moment is a little bit of physical power in the penalty area from the attacking players. Primo, who could provide it for Morocco. 17 goals for Le Havre in the French First Division this season. Boniek. And now Djekonovski. Bunsol is there as well, and it's Bunsol who snatched at it.
Actually, the linesman are given an offside decision.
Here's Timoumi. And when the crowd get just a little bit distracted from the proceedings, they are always chanting for Mexico, Mexico. Haddaoui shot when he was off balance. Djekonovski losing out to Lamriss. Seven minutes of the first half remaining, and it's interesting, David, that Poland are warming up a substitute, Jan Orban, a midfield player.
Well, it may be to get the others at it a little bit. It's up to Poland to try and take the initiative, and at the moment they're sitting back and not really playing with the urgency that we know physically they can do.
Perhaps Ostrovsky can change that. Boniek, Smolarek and Djekonovski in the middle, and Bunsol again. And he had two to pick out with the ball cut back and missed both of them, Djekonovski and Kormanitsky. Bunsol. Poland beginning to look a little more threatening in wider positions. Kormanitsky. Boniek was beaten to it, and he has a corner. Boniek to take it himself, and it bypassed everyone at the near post, and Majewski, who couldn't have got a sight of it. Majewski, who was in Poland's squad in 1982, and since then has only played one international, which was Poland's last warm-up international for these finals in Denmark a couple of weeks ago.
There was only 5 defenders in that box, as well as the goalkeeper, when that ball was crossed in. So if they'd have conceded a goal, you know, they only have themselves to blame. They're a little bit slow sometimes to get back when the Poles get possession, particularly the midfield players. This particular gentleman, very good on the ball, but he doesn't like running back towards his own goal to defend.
Well, Michel Platini leaves that to others, and Timoumi is very much the Platini of Morocco. He's also, to be fair to him, recovering from a broken leg last November and is very short of match practice. Biyaz. Mustafa Merry trying to screen it and set up Timoumi, and there was plenty of time, and the brothers Merry were moving in for the kill. You neglect Timoumi at that sort of distance at your peril. Poland just happy to pick their passes at a gentle pace going forward, and they're not always picking them well. Timoumi. And Aziz Bouderbala almost freed through the middle by Dolmy. Here's Komonitsky. 3 minutes remaining in the first half. And Morocco really deserved to go in at half-time on even terms. Lamriss. Morocco were strong favourites to do really well in the recent African Championship. They finished fourth in the end, but were lacking some of their full-time professionals. Well, Mustafa Merry showing again, David, that Morocco do lack that willingness to get into the box to support the player who gets the ball wide.
Yes, they want to play walking a little bit at times, and of course they won't be able to do that, particularly in the later stages of this competition. But as I say, it's still a cat-and-mouse game, and the first goal will be so important because that will open the game up, and of course we'll see a different type of game then.
Bunsol. Majewski going ahead of him. And this time it's Poland short of numbers. A first half in which security really has been the main aim. But in between the defending, some good technique from midfield. Bunsol. Boniek, and space here for Smolarek if he can keep the ball in play. Jepanovski and Boniek, the only two in the middle for Poland at the moment. Bunsol trying to make a late run, and it reaches Bunsol. Well, it wasn't an easy ball, David, to strike, but he held his position well to come in late.
Yes, Smolarek curls very good balls around the back of people. And they were doing a lot of shooting practices from similar positions the other day, and their finishing was excellent. But of course, although practice makes perfect, sometimes it's a different situation when the pressure's on.
Well, there's some thunder in the air. It's a sticky late afternoon in Monterrey. The closest World Cup venue to the United States border, and it's a city here with a great influence from the States. Aziz Bouderbala. Haddaoui, one touch too many. Lamriss. Aziz Bouderbala, who's had a good first half, and shoots again. The better attempts from Morocco have come from distance. And if Mounacic gets a good sight of it, I suppose he might feel his defenders are doing their job.
Yeah, good effort. The Moroccans are going at half-time quite pleased with their efforts so far. It is a platform for their futures. You could say it was a kind of Caspar of their capabilities, and certainly Timoumi would have impressed many ambitious French clubs with his performance so far.
David Pleat summing up of a goalless first half. We'll take a break, and after that the views of Brian Clough and Ian St John with Brian Moore, and then you'll join us for the second half. Yes, thanks Brian. Very kindly Bobby's popped up to our commentary position. Bobby, what were your impressions of the first half, particularly, shall we start with the Moroccans?
Well, they've more than held their own as far as I'm concerned. In fact, for my money, they've played slightly the better side. I like very much the three front players. The number 8 is coming from midfield, but he's a very technical player, sharp, got an eye for a shot. The two front players, the two main brothers, move around, they turn the defenders well. Murray from midfield also has an eye for the pass. I mean, we need to get a hold of him because I would think that he's got an eye for any sort of a pass, and he could, cut right through you, really. quite good at the back. You know, they mark very well and they're tenacious. And I tell you what, it's not great football from the Moroccans, not by any means. And if you were to underestimate this particular little team, you could get well and truly beaten.
Have you, in a sense, been disappointed with Poland?
Well, yes, I have slightly. I like the little Levin, Smolarek. I mean, he's a tricky, clever little player, very incisive, and you would need to get a hold of. But they haven't thrown too many people up front. They've been a bit cautious, a lot of square passing. To win the match, they've really got to get amongst the Moroccans and test the Moroccans from a defensive point of view, because at the moment, they're not doing that. And as a result, they could lose this match.
Bob, thanks very much indeed. We'll let you get on with your scouting. The second half here is underway. Poland attacking the goal to the right. If you've just joined us in the white shirts and red shorts, they brought on one substitute, Shibish, who's wearing number 2. Morocco will certainly hope to keep the match going very much in the manner of the first half, but Smolarek, who's just been singled out by Bobby Robson as a player who threatens the header away from Lamriss, not very far away. Matishik. It remains to be seen whether there's a little bit more urgency. The sort of urgency I expect we'll see from Bobby Robson's England team. Not in this stadium, in the Tecnológica across the city of Monterrey tomorrow against Portugal. Aziz Bouderbala. Wojcicki concedes the corner. To be taken by Timoumi. Biyaz has made his way forward from the back. Can Timoumi drop it with accuracy with that left foot? Komonitsky. Here's Bunsol. Getting away from Haddaoui and striving to cut the ball back, which he did, with Jekanovski and Smolarek arriving in the middle. David Pleat has reclaimed the other microphone from Bobby Robson. David, would you expect more urgency from the Poles?
I think we'll get that automatically as each game drifts on and people have found each other's strengths now and possibly the weaknesses, although it's one thing to see a weakness and it's another thing to exploit it. But I think there were one or two things in the first half which the Polish players could have spoken about to try and get at the Moroccans.
Well, here's Mustafa Merry, and that wasn't a very brotherly cross, with Cremo going towards the near post. Matishik, who was seriously ill after the last World Cup, and in fact it looked as though his career would be over. And he's a very strong man indeed and has made a recovery that has astonished the Polish football people. And it's really one of the great stories of this World Cup, although not an easy one to tell, how Matishik, the number 6 for Poland, has fought off disease and triumphed in adversity. It was no exaggeration to say that they were close for his life. Bouyahyaoui. Dolmy, room to manoeuvre in midfield, 3 ahead of him for Morocco. Mustafa Merry over Shibish, the second half substitute, and Smolarek came back clearly from an offside position. Poland qualified from European Group 1 on goal difference over Belgium, Albania and Greece were the other two teams in that group. And they are the seeded team in Group F here from their past World Cup exploits. Primo adjudged offside, not appreciated by the Moroccan central striker or by the crowd. Here's Boniek. Wojcicki, who's only joined in occasionally from the back. 6'4". It's his third World Cup. And Poland coached by their 1982 trainer, Antoni Piechniczek. Not, I must say, the easiest names for a commentator to get his tongue around. I think when God gave out vowels, he forgot Poland. Boniek, one of the easier names. Bunsol. Neat play from Mustafa Merry, but Haddaoui didn't return the ball to him. Not a difficult game for the referee, José Martínez from Uruguay. If anything, it has lacked some passion, but not short on technique. Described by David Pleat as a chessboard game early on, and it hasn't really changed from that style. But here's Boniek. Shivish. But Zaki hasn't really been called upon in the Moroccan goal to show his qualities. Matishik. Ostrovsky, faced by Khalifa. Plenty of Poland players forward here. And Boniek's pass, looking for Smolarek. They were club colleagues in Poland with Widzew. And Boniek touching it up. The first real striking effort from Poland. And it's come 7 minutes into the second half from their player of the year. But it was straight at Zaki.
Industry to get round the back to try and get the crosses in.
Biyaz. Timoumi. Well, the story from this match so far is a simple one, really, that Morocco are not to be taken lightly. They said they weren't here for the ride. They hadn't come as tourists, and that's the way they're setting out their stall.
They're a very relaxed group of players as well. I believe that they pray 3 times a day, and certainly they won't want too much prayers today to get the result in this game, if they can just stop the pace a little bit. Faria, the manager, he's an interesting character. He's a rather portly Brazilian, and he seems to walk around the centre circle smoking, while the other players are put through the paces by the coach. A lovely style of management.
I wonder whether we'll see that style at White Hart Lane next season.
I don't smoke, Martin.
But you wouldn't mind the stroll. Here's Bunsol, leaving it to Majewski, trying to quicken the pace, sensing the need for Poland to make a greater impact perhaps here. Timoumi. Harris by Bunsol, but unfairly. Poland are waiting to introduce Jan Orban, who was waiting on the touchline, is now been called away. And while the ball is in play, the substitution can't take place. Dolmy. Haddaoui. Aziz Bouderbala coming again from a deeper position. And Mustafa Merry couldn't quite control.
That was a splendid move by the Moroccans, initiated by Bouderbala, and there may have been a suspicion of offside at the death, but it was a good bit of play, and it was one where they increased the pace of the move.
And now Zaki showing his versatility with a clearing header. And it's Jekanovski who's being called off. In keeping really with the unfulfilled potential from him. They're certainly not sure about him in the Poland camp. And Jan Urban, wearing number 8, will come on. Poland now having used both their substitutes. Komonitsky, thrust down unfairly by Aziz Bouderbala. Richard Komonitsky, one of the Górnik players, the Polish champions, retained their title. Orban trying to get his first touch. Unsol lost it. Space here for Mustafa Merry. Haddaoui. Now Khalifa. Dolmy. And that was a neat turn. Lost Smolarek. And Morocco again keeping the ball well, switching from right to left. Just looking for a little bit more penetration further forward. Timoumi. Now Lamriss. And Haddaoui, who has something of a reputation for shooting from that distance, but it wasn't clean contact that time.
Once again, the Moroccans making sure that in possession, they know exactly how to dictate the pace of the game. If they can just quicken it a little bit around the box, they could put the Poles in trouble.
Matishik. Aziz Bouderbala back to help out Lamriss, who won the ball from Komonitsky. Again, Morocco patient, picking their passes. Never been overawed here on the World Cup stage. Crimo, who's been a real nomad around the French league. And he wants a foul there that's not forthcoming. Unsol. Cleanly won by Lamriss. Here's Timoumi. And Bouderbala trying to conjure up some magic. Haddaoui. And Crimo's cross, causing a problem for Winarchik in the end. It's quite breezy, with the temperature dropping and the threat of rain again in the air. And a pat of friendship from Bouderbala for a goalkeeper who was grateful to pour the ball behind for the corner. Taken by Timoumi. Winarchik clears his area. Back from Lamriss, and Crimo! He got back quickly as the Poles were pushing out to stay onside.
Yeah, a good attempt and slightly unlucky. I think watching the game, the Portuguese would be sweating more than possibly England, because they'll be fighting for that vital second or third place.
Well, Orban stopped at the last when Poland were just beginning to look threatening. Almost an hour played. Haddaoui, and there's a rawness at times about the Moroccans. when there was no need to shoot then. He let fly and stubbed his toe, and Boniek, the ever-present threat. Well, that was a theatrical fall, which might have had more success in Italy than it was going to have in a World Cup. Komonitsky. Tidied up neatly by Lamriss. England, remember, play Morocco in their second match, a match you'll be able to see live on ITV. And David, it could be quite an interesting confrontation now.
I'm sure. The Moroccans are going to certainly win a few friends here. They do, as I said earlier, play with a smile on the face. There's been no rough tackling. They want to work the ball, they want to play football.
Biyaz. Matishik did well to keep his balance and the ball. Komonitsky. Smolarek's back heel. Komonitsky. A sharper edge to Poland's attacking play then.
A little bit of invention and a little bit of something different. Sharp back heel. Might have done better, although he was under pressure as he shot.
But by and large, Morocco have defended in a composed way. The only lack of composure that I've seen from them since I've been out here came in a training game when Biyaz and Bouyahyaoui, the two centre-backs, suddenly turned and started fighting each other after a disagreement about the way they should operate their pairing in the middle of the defence. But I understand that the rift was soon healed. Smolarek and Lamriss strong in the tackle again. Dolmy, Haddaoui. Space here for Khalifa. This is Mustafa Merry. It's where Morocco really go from here that's caused them a problem. Cremo is the target and tried to take it on the chest. He's a muscular forward, a little in the mould perhaps of Cyril Regis. Komonitsky. Again, no one really trying to win the ball in the opposition's half. And the tackles will begin to go in now. And Ostrovsky in the end is half stopped. Back from Lamriss. Bunsol. Orban. Smolarek to his left, and Matishik has taken up a central position. And it might come for Smolarek. Deflected for the corner. It would have been fortunate had Poland scored from that, in that Urban's shot was blocked. But José Faria can be proud of the way his team has performed so far, the Moroccan coach. They need to be disciplined now in their defending.
As the game wears on, it'll be interesting to see the contrast between the stamina of the two sides. The Poles are very determined, very strong players, and they've been training for some while together. And the Moroccans have been used to the heat. At this moment, it's quite cloudy, although it's very humid down there.
The delay while the ball is being retrieved from the moat around this stadium. So it's Poland's corner, to be taken by Boniek. Majewski. Stefan Majewski, who came in there to make the header, scored in the last World Cup in the match for 3rd and 4th place against France in Poland's 3-2 victory. David, it is going to be a World Cup about possession football, but do you honestly see England playing their football at this pace?
I think our natural characteristics will make us play quicker. I think we'll have to play quicker, and I don't think it'll be a bad thing either. There was a case there where the goalkeeper rolled the ball out, and the Moroccan received the ball completely unopposed, and the Poles were quite happy to allow him to receive the ball. I feel that some challenge would be a good thing, would make people hurry their skills. They say a good player is a player that's always got time. Well, the Moroccans have had plenty today.
Merry, Mustafa Merry, that is. Here's Dolmy. Primo again, the target in the middle, and trying to guide the header down for Aziz Bouderbala. Here's Boniek. Orban beaten by the covering defender, who was Bouyahyaoui. Dolmy, Lamriss to his left. Bouderbala was the player he used. And again. And Aziz Bouderbala again finding space on the edge of the area. Morocco still looking for the right final ball. Well, I think Wojcicki couldn't really get out of the way, and Bouderbala was throwing himself to the ground really before the contact was made, and the referee, rightly in my view, didn't blow for an obstruction.
He might have done better to go through his legs.
He's certainly one of the tallest men in the World Cup, Roman Wojcicki, Poland's number 5. Smolarek beavering away down that left-hand side. Biyaz there, only partially stopping him. Bunsol. And Boniek was a man over then, if Orban could have found him. Shibish. Matishik. And again, lack of orderliness about the Polish play. They've looked pretty safe at the back. But I say again, they were slow starters in 1982, and they finished 3rd. Haddaoui.
One thing that we have learnt today is the Moroccans aren't that naive in defending. The African group that they played in was a reasonable one for them to get through.
And here's Primo. A touch then with Winarczyk off his line. Could have brought the opening goal.
But they haven't shown any particular weaknesses in defending today. And that'll be very important psychologically to them as they go on to play England and Portugal.
Here's Shibish. Smolarek wrestled to the ground by Biyaz. A little show of temper from him, and he in fact is under a year's suspension for international played in Africa under the African Federation after an incident when he laid a hand on the referee in one of the African Nations Cup matches. But that suspension doesn't apply for the World Cup. Bunsol. Those little knockdowns from Poland haven't fallen right for them yet. Lamriss. Timoumi, who's been more of a peripheral figure in the second half. Bunsol. Now Boniek. And Bouyahyaoui, I was going to say stood his ground, but he fell in the end. But he did enough to keep Boniek at bay. But here's Bunsol. And Bouyahyaoui is still down. Orban tries to curl it, and Zaki at full stretch, touch to the side. The save of the match so far. Zaki from Orban. He looked to curl it, seemed to have the goalkeeper beaten, but Zaki stretched to the limit.
Outstanding save.
Mustafa Merry. And here's Aziz Bouderbala. And Mustafa Merry made up good ground too. There's still just the two of them forward, but they drew the players towards Mustafa Merry, and Aziz Bouderbala can't in the end find a way through.
As Bouderbala and Merry attacked there, it was lovely to see the sight of the 8 other Moroccans in their own half. I suppose they were praying that they might get a goal.
I think we were praying too, David. Timoumi. Here's Lamriss. The crowd getting behind Morocco again. Smolarek. Again, the play stretch, not the sight that you see so often in England, the back fours pushing up and compressing the football into areas either side of the halfway line. Boniek. Orban, the player held by Biyaz. Zaki setting a two-man wall. And Boniek showing his discontent. It was overhit and Boniek himself had gone offside.
It's vitally important at this stage that the Moroccans keep their discipline as well as their composure. They've just made one or two silly tackles on the edge of the box. And at this stage, concentration is going to be vital. They've done a good job and they've got to keep themselves well mentally alert.
We think back, of course, to Algeria's win over West Germany in the '82 World Cup. I wonder whether Morocco have got enough here to pip Poland. In the 1970 finals, Morocco drew with Bulgaria. And in that group, they lost to West Germany, unluckily, and were beaten 3-0 by Peru. Matishik, now Boniek. Matishik. Ostrovsky taking over, and Biyaz at the full height of his jump, conceding the corner. This time Boniek is leaving it to Marek Ostrovsky. Five Polish players in the penalty area, and Zaki needing some help. Shibish. Now Boniek, who was waiting on the edge, and a break on here for Morocco with Mustafa Merry and Bouderbala, and he, in the end, picked the wrong pass because Haddaoui, unseen by Mustafa Merry, was making tracks to the other side. Orban. And Biyaz again coming across well.
It was an excellent run of Bouderbala across the face of the defender from right to left, which left the space on the right-hand side.
Komonitsky. And Zaki settling for the goal kick. In some ways, the tempo of this game has been a little bit like basketball. You allow the one team allows the other to come forward, then gets the ball back and goes forward themselves. And it's Morocco's turn here until the intervention of Matishik.
I think that will be a characteristic of the World Cup, and it'll be interesting to see what the European sides can do about that, whether they can disturb the flow of the other teams when they get possession.
Ostrovsky. Out-tackled by Merry. Mustafa Merry. Dolmy. Now Haddaoui. Primo trying to get into the middle, and it's prodded out by the giant Wojcicki. One goal here, of course, for either side would be of immense importance. The nature of the game would soon be forgotten. A victory in the first match is priceless, really, and Poland would settle for 1-0. But we've had no goals, and we're inside the final 15 minutes. Bouyahyaoui. This is Biyaz. Primo's dropped back to do a stint in midfield, allowing his younger brother to forage further forward. Timoumi. He does look, David, very tired.
Yes, he certainly faded from the game in this second period. He was very influential in the first period, although, to be fair, he did have the time and space to produce his passes, and really I thought he conducted the Moroccan orchestra in the first half. But at the moment he has faded out the game, and the Merry brothers are doing good things in 2v2 situations when they get forward.
Here's Mustafa Merry. Timoumi involved this time. Lamriss. Timoumi. Well, it's possession football, not to any real purpose this time, except that it makes the other team do the running. Dolmy. And it's Aziz Bouderbala who gets his head to it. Primo. Ostrovsky is the defender closest to him. And now Haddaoui. Timed his run well. It was blocked by Wojcicki by his body and not by an arm, as Haddaoui thought.
The Moroccan right midfield player Haddaoui has made some excellent runs. He is the one with the energy to support attacks, and I'm sure Bobby Robson will have noted that closely.
Bunsol. Now Ostrovsky. Can Boniek pull something out of his hat in the few minutes that remain? But the threat again from Morocco when they win the ball in that type of situation. Bouderbala and Primo was beaten by the speed of Ostrovsky in the end. Matishik. This is Komonitsky, showing what stamina he's got in reserve. And he's won a corner, I think, for Poland. With 11 minutes remaining, and if you stayed with us deep into the night, perhaps on a scouting mission like Bobby Robson, to see what England have got to face in the forthcoming days. It certainly hasn't been an extravagant display from either side. Poland have been so secretive in their preparations, David. I wonder if they're keeping some secrets from us here.
Well, possibly. They're probably playing it too clever.
Given away there by Lamriss. Bunsol. And Boniek just started to come alive, really, on the edge of the area. Komonitsky beaten to it. A touch from Bouderbala, Timoumi, Dolmy, and Cremo not really able to free himself from the marking there. It's very much in the nature of the Moroccan player to work the ball through midfield. Cremo prefers an earlier ball from the back and has been trying to encourage his teammates to do that, but there haven't been too many early passes for him in the European style.
It's a good point, Martin. They've passed the ball at all times. They've never attempted to kick it, and sometimes you need a little balance between the both.
Here's Bunsol. And it's Morocco's throw inside the final 10 minutes. If you come in from a late night at home, it's Morocco 0, Poland 0, which might surprise you. But Morocco certainly full value for a share of the spoils here. But one lapse in concentration, one defensive slip could ruin an afternoon's good work. That's what happened to Canada, remember. Ostrovsky. Now Majewski. Matishik, and not quite sure whether that was a cross or a shot.
I think it was an apology for a shot, Martin. Very, very poor effort. But I'm sure the important fact this afternoon, with the England players watching this, they'll have no fear. They can cope with both these sides, and that's important for the two teams that are playing second. Even the Portuguese, who've looked a little bit lethargic in training, their spirits will probably be raised on the strength of this performance.
And we can echo what the England lads were saying at half-time. We are based in the same hotel as the players. The morale is tremendous. And I do believe that all 22 of them deep down inside believe that this is a World Cup that England can win. Here's Matishik. Now Majewski. Poland haven't really changed their tactical approach. They've changed a couple of players with their substitutions.
Boniek's played possibly a little bit further forward, but he's been a shadow of his true self.
Bunsol, Majewski, almost invited to try the shot. And Shibish and Komonitsky getting in each other's way. And Boniek this time. A corner for Poland. Good defending again by Biyaz. It really is a murky late afternoon here. I think they'd be calling for the floodlights in England. And that's Bunsol. And David Pleat has pointed out to me, in fact, that they have just put the lights on.
That's the second time Bunsol's got underneath a volley. If they go into the top corner of the net, he's a hero. If they go over the bar like that, he's a villain.
More than some of his teammates, though, David. He has accepted the responsibility of shooting in this match.
That's quite right.
And there's a mistake by Dolmy. And against the post from Orban. A let-off. The closest we've had to a goal. It came from Jan Orban after Dolmy rather wearily had prodded the ball in his direction. And Zaki, flinging himself to his right, was beaten. But the ball ricocheted kindly for Morocco. And that happened with 6 minutes remaining. Khalifa. And it stung Morocco perhaps into some sort of retaliation. Matishik, who is very much the defensive midfield player. Here's Orban again. Smolarek darted ahead of him. Orban looks instead for Komonitsky. Timoumi. And Dolmy, who's missed a lot of training, he's had a foot problem, and that's beginning to show now. Here's Lamriss. Aziz Bouderbala. Cremo. And then Mustafa Merry, but the whistle had gone. Smolarek through the middle, Komonitsky finding space on this near side. And play stopped again. Timoumi goes down and stays down, and that has immediately brought looks of concern to the faces of the Moroccan players. He's been working very hard to try and get his match fitness back. His first international since last November was against Northern Ireland in April in Belfast, when he did score Morocco's goal from the penalty spot in a 2-1 defeat. But they were certainly counting on him being a major force in their bid here to qualify, which would be like winning the World Cup, I think, for Morocco if they got into the 8th final match. And down he went there.
An interesting feature so far has been the adequate refereeing. I think that the gentleman today here has been well in control of the game. There's been nothing controversial, no problems for him. I think we've just had the one incident so far in the Spain-Brazil game, where I think everyone who saw those pictures clearly saw the Spain were denied a goal.
And I think maybe that was the fault of the linesman rather than the referee, David.
Yes, quite right. But it also emphasises how difficult it is for referees when you have an instant decision, if you're not on the spot, you know, you're on hiding to nothing.
Bring back Mr. Bakramov, the Russian linesman in 1966, who saw us safely through that World Cup final. Well, Timoumi is staying in the fray, but somewhat reluctantly, and at no more than walking pace. Komonitsky. Ostrovsky. There are some very tired players out there. Weariness induced by the heavy humidity and temperatures certainly above those that Poland would be used to. It's a much drier heat, of course, in Morocco. But the Moroccans will regard this as a moral victory if they can keep Poland at bay for the minute or so plus injury time that remains. Bunsol. Smolarek. Looking to take on Khalifa. Komonitsky arriving in the middle. And so too is Boniek. Here's Komonitsky. Trying to make sure. Orban. Bunsol. Tremendous block by Biyaz. And he's still down.
The Moroccans deserve that justice.
Poland tried to walk it in. And with the ball out of play, Biyaz, who flung himself into the line of the shot, will get some treatment. Haddaoui is coming off. And the number 21 is Aziz Souleimani, who comes on as we move into injury time. Well, Biyaz is back on his feet. I think it's fair to say that the overall conclusion here, from an England point of view, is that it's good news, what we've seen. Poland have been tentative. We know they're skillful. We know they can do better. And Morocco are going to use up a little bit more time with a second substitution, bringing on Khairi for the flagging Timoumi. Khairi, who's been a worthy deputy while Timoumi's been out of the national side. Another of the soldiers in the squad. And Morocco content now with using up the time that the referee chooses to add on, and they're not being very subtle about it.
I think the verdict is there's nothing to fear.
It finishes 0-0 to the disappointment of the people of Monterrey, but a very good result for England, who will go to the top of Group F if we can beat Portugal tomorrow. Poland perhaps surprisingly tentative. Morocco, flashes of skill, organisation, better perhaps than we thought they had. Their best World Cup performance on their return to Mexico, where they did draw with Bulgaria in the 70-finals. So we'll take another break, and after it, the views again of Brian Clough and Ian St John. For the moment, though, it's goodbye from Monterrey.